Hey, David, so you promised to talk about the Harlequins, yes?
Yeah, I did, didn't I? Do I need to?
I mean, I can't make you, but I'd certainly like it if you did. I'll still show you the way back to your timeline, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
God damn it, you're a manipulator. Definitely raised by the Drukhari. Alright, I'll talk about the Harlequins. There's actually some theories that the new Eldar Codex, they'll get a detachment, so I suppose I should talk about their story.
Story. That's funny.
Unintentional, but yeah, kind of. But let's start on these guys. So, the name Harlequin is an imperial word, Low Gothic, for the subfaction of the Eldar race. The Eldar language calls them the Relitan? Lord, I had to re-record that a few times, kept calling it Ritalin. So, the Harlequins do not hold any sort of alliance to the Eldar or the Drukhari, though in the war game they're a part of the Eldar faction. Actually, it's weird, they have a sub-faction keyword, but no restriction on them joining the Eldar sub-factions. In fact, the only ones they're restricted with is the Drukhari, and the Drukhari can only join the Eldar if Ivrain is their warlord. Honestly, the Eldar sub-factions are incredibly weird. They used to be completely different factions, but they got combined into the Eldar, I think in 7th edition, maybe 8th? I don't know, doesn't matter. The Harlequin are essentially priests to the laughing god of the Eldar faction. They essentially are splinters who believe the universe is a written play by their deity, and their job is to push the story forward. I assume this gives them some future sight, which isn't exactly how 40k Farseers work. So, how it works is it essentially takes the psychic power of everyone and calculates what could happen in the immediate future. The Emperor of Mankind making a set of cards that enhance the psychic reach and figure out the future with more accuracy, almost perfect accuracy. But Harlequins very likely have something similar. Their base of operations is a place very close to where we are now in the Webway. Of course, I don't really understand how the Webway works, I just can't figure it out. How is this city the size of the galaxy, but we're moving faster than light in real space?
I don't know either. I'm not a warp physicist.
Really? That's a thing? Seriously?
I don't know. Probably sounds like something the Gorgon Freedom Men would do.
Gorgon? You mean... Are we seriously making a Half-Life references? Whatever. This faction actually predates the Age of Strife, which is sometimes blamed on Slaaneshi birth, but 40k really isn't consistent on the Chaos deities. Somehow, Chegarak managed to survive the destructive birth of Slaanesh, which I ain't sure how that works, but there's a lot of "but how" with this video, it seems. Apparently, he survived in the Webway, which isn't exactly the warp, but it also is. But also fenced off part of the warp. But also maybe a part outside the realms of chaos, which might also be a similar zone to where the greater good deity resides. Warp is weird. I should do a video on that, but I need to learn about the mortal realms in order to better discuss this subject. What am I talking about? I'm literally talking about this while the wiki is open for this subject. I barely have a grasp on the Warhammer settings, it seems. Harlequins seem to have no set leader other than their deity. In return, the souls of Harlequins that die in service to the Laughing God get taken by him. I don't know what he does with their souls, but there's a ton of mysteries with these guys, and I kind of like that, actually. Now, how does one become a Harlequin? Well, there's only one way. You get recruited. No member of the Harlequins are born into the faction. They don't clone, they don't fuck, they don't make more of them naturally or unnaturally. Now, how does one get recruited? Depends on the recruiter and the individual. Sometimes one just needs to be impressed by you as an Eldar. The 40k show on Warhammer TV, which I unfortunately pay for, called Exodite, follows Exodite as he attempts to shoot up something, I can't remember what, as Tau try and kill him for some reason. The last episode of this short series shows an Eldar in a mask talking to an Exodite in question. The Exodite goes into a webway gate and is in a weird hallucination. He is given a mask, a very particular mask, and he becomes a death jester. Of course, there's other ways ones are asked to join. Sometimes the recruiter will make a bet with you, and if you lose, you join. Sometimes they'll just kidnap you and make you join. More times than not, actually. There's honestly a very small amount about the faction, and you can figure out more about them by researching their deity, Chegarak. Right now, they believe themselves on the, quote, final chapter, which implies that 40k will be reaching its end times event soon, though I don't think GW will do that with their license to print money, really. Watch as I eat those words as soon as they release the Emperor's Children next year. But what's in the final act, we ain't got a clue. Some Eldar fear it, some Eldar embrace it. Some Harlequins have the same variety of opinions. Funny thing is, they seem to want to avoid the Inari end goal of bringing the Crone Swords together, so who knows exactly. Tzeentch also has a disdain for the final chapter, as it would possibly end the great game, him not wanting at all for the game to end, actively screwing himself in order to make sure the game continues. But what about their units in the wargame? Well, there's 8 models for it now. There definitely used to be more, as this used to be its own individual army. Like how the goddamn Death Watch used to be.
Still hurt by that?
Yeah, they fixed it up the day I was writing up this script, and actually made it better. In fact, but in this fact that this whole thing was reduced to 4 units instead of Space Marines entirely, while removing the Space Marines' abilities and keywords, made them unplayable in any situation, really. And I could talk about it, but nothing really of note. No mixed units, ammo on one and any ranged weapons, and a few other changes that I won't go into yet. Harlequin models are 4 characters and 4 standards. Half of the characters are epic heroes, and the Death Jester and the Solitaire being the epic heroes, while the Troopmaster and Shadowseer are not epics, and are the only ones that have the leader ability, both only able to lead the troop. Of the soldiers, 3 are either mounted or vehicles, while 1 is an infantry unit, the troop. It's not bad ability for the troop though. Charge in, get a bonus on melee wound rolls. given each of the melee for the troop are 2 with a 4 strength or 1 with a 3 strength, this can be a benefit. I'll give that. The Void Weaver is a tank, which does something that I keep forgetting exists. Battle Shock checks on units hit by it. The Star Weaver is also a vehicle unit, and it's a dedicated transport with a tiny group of people, only 6 Harlequins. The transport ability, whatever. Skyweaver is the last one mounted unit built around flyby attacks, which feel like it's missing an ability. It should have an ability that maxes advances too. But that's enough about the Masky Men. You're welcome, Darren. Shove off.